Thank you, Katlego. Well, if you were saying that to me, I'd probably answer yes. But when we think of marriage, many of us either reach for our running shoes, while others feel compelled to pop the question on the second date. Are you ready to tie the knots, or does the idea of marriage give you knots in your stomach? Well, today to discuss the topic of marriage is you and also our relationship expert, Dr. Marlene Wasserman, better known as Dr. Eve. Morning, Doctor. Good to have you on the show on this Monday morning.
Yeah.
And then also we're going to take your calls on 083-9133728. Before we discuss with Dr. Eve, we want to hear from you. We asked the question, is there such a thing as too soon?
I don't think there is a thing as too soon. If it feels right, it is right.
It is best to take your time to get to know someone fully before making the decision to commit, because you only want to make that decision once.
When you do things in a haste, there's a lot of emotion. You love him, you love her, etc. But when you're not thinking things through, you can actually see in the long run you're making the worst decision of your life, or maybe the best.
If there's a spark, there's a spark. If you love someone, you want to be with that person for the rest of your life, go for it.
So we're asking what and when is the right time to pop the question? When is too soon? 083-9133728. Dr. Eve, we want to know, how do you know when we're ready to consider marriage? It's so exciting.
I'm amused by somebody here who said it's never too soon. I think it's always too soon. I think there are a lot of red flags if after the second or the third date you're going to be saying, I think we should move in together and I think we should get married. What's really interesting is that people today are showing commitment first, not by getting married, but by buying a house together. That's like the thing. So if somebody says to you, hey, honey, do you think we should buy a house together? You've got to know that that's like a new form of commitment. In the old days, it was like, let's get married, because people are delaying getting married for longer, much, much later than they used to. But there are certain things that have to be considered. There was a New York Times article that came out, and I'm really going to be talking a lot about that, because they asked for about 13 questions that people need to be discussing before they pop the question. So popping the question is almost like an inevitable, a natural adult discussion that you have. It isn't always just this romantic finding the ring in the rose or in the champagne glass. So I do want our viewers to begin to consider some of those questions as they think about when is the right time, or if they actually made the right decision and agreed to the question when it was popped.
Immediately, I want to say, well, what if you don't tick those 13 boxes and you have been married? But I mean, I'm going to leave that to later on this morning.
Yes.
When we think of the main blocks that you are talking about and ticking these boxes, and I can see you, Doctor, becoming fairly serious, because marriage, jong, trou is die perde koopie. It's a serious thing. Being married is a serious step to challenge, love, commitment. What should you do before you tie the knot with this partner? I mean, what are those blocks that you should be ticking?
So today we have expectations that a partner should be more than just like the breadwinner or somebody who raises your children. We really expect this person is going to root and secure us in our lives. And also, and that I found in my research when I did my book on cyber infidelity, that you expect from your partner to be your best friend. You expect him or her to be your lover as well, to have that kind of passion that goes along with it. But you want to begin to look, as you do in your courtship, at certain things. So the first thing you want to look at, how did your or his parents manage conflict? Because this is really serious. So if you see you go into their family and you begin to meet them and you see that there's arguments that are happening, and you see that the way that they resolve differences or conflicts, that they throw plates at each other, or they get really angry, or they get really aggressive, they become abusive with each other.
Or they become really quiet.
That's true. They withdraw and they shut down and nothing actually ever gets resolved. That's absolutely true. You know that your partner's learned that way of managing conflict. And that's going to be kind of a sign for you, like, this is the way he or she's going to manage conflict. And is this going to be good going forward? Or is there an ability for us to talk about it and to say, this isn't a good way for us to manage conflict? So that's just like one thing. The second thing you always want to talk about, and people dream when they're courting, but the dreaming is really looking at strategically, is this person somebody I can spend the rest of my life with? It's like children. Oh, do you like children? Oh, you're so cute with kids. Well, does that mean that you do want to have children? Or are you saying straight up, I'm never going to have children? And then I think we women are a little guilty of this. We think, I'm going to change him or her.
Or her, because we want kids.
we're
Doctor,
going to have
hold that
kids.
thought, because I want to talk more about the notion of kids. I also want to know things like, can marriage enhance a relationship? So let's say you've had trouble before. It's interesting how you talk about family dynamics before the marriage. So you don't wait till you're in the marriage. So all of that, we're going to talk with Dr. Eve. We're talking about our marriages, our relationships. Is it too soon? When is it too soon to tie the knot? To ask that question, 083-913-3728. If you want to give us a call this morning, this show is live. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Guys, what's coming up?